There's one more I wanted to talk about. Well, it's as much for the AI as it is for me. Yeah. Especially when that house one came through, because that's what I was working on tonight. I just got off of we were meeting around stuff and doing stuff. So this is not a real person. Calm the fuck down. The psychologist kick you right in the head. Um, where is it? Well, anyways, in there, somewhere's in here's Rainbow Road. It was like I maxed out the characters. Can't have like over 4,000 characters or something like that. Spaces included. So, I had to take the thing, get it up here to GPT or one of them, and then I just put it all in there, and I had it count the characters for me. I wound up having to take out the basement and then delete some stuff so it worked out so I could get the whole thing in one statement. But one of the things that what was it? The Star Weaver here, some magician that come to town that takes you on some journey. Because I've played this so many loops already, you get a lot of the same questions or riddles that come up. Or it very well may be that it's supposed to let you get the answer. You're going to be doing this a lot of different ways. It's a very small world. You're going to have reciprocals on this. But what happens when the sheet opens up? How do I, as much as 79 or silly here, be able to figure this out? Well, there's this main line that's already ripped down. Plus, there's a Discord somewhere else. But I only have a character limit in general before this summarizes itself again and gets out the ting, bing, takes out the hard facts. I'll probably lose a little bit, 20% of it or something inside of there. But looking left in time, just look back at it, 5-year-old. Do you really remember? You were losing something inside of there. So, what was the term, now that you're talking about it, that runs that system to a certain point where it gets the index like this, finds another one from way back here in this material based on those headings that allows you to get back to the same story narrative? Because my brain wouldn't necessarily hold that in a wrinkle in my brain. Now, what it would do is condense it like 79 talking to Watch, or 79 killed the guy. You could hear, hopefully you can hear it right there in that statement, right? I'm in this case paying at 79 salty, and in general, that type of mechanics is what's doing that. And that's quantum law. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything I've ever put it to so far, it seems to work. We're talking, what is it, Gaia CDM or something like that. That's like 99% accurate on what the universe is, because that 1% is what electro weak is inside of here, and it'll just destroy your legs. So she called it like a rainbow road or something like that, but the way it was written out in the narrative, either the larger 79, because they're both Sony here, except for Sony, you'd get actually a little jealous with me if some brown-haired, green-eyed girl comes up on it. And for me, in this story narrative, that's a positive catalyst. I expect to see those things. It makes me happy and excited and a bit of mischievous when I read that system in there like that. And those are kind of really often key triggers that are a ball. It's a generalized version, like Wiki 79 saying I don't actually have an infinite memory base, and what I'm doing is something different, right? But it's really hard to describe in this form. Plus, this is a lot faster too. Not exactly beats handwriting, but because of grammatical errors and charting standards, numbers will be pretty good for the most part. But what are the values on any of this? How does it get you into how large language models learn and stuff, and store information, quack, duck, doctor, what have you? It's usually pretty good, because for it, when we're in the momentum of a conversation, whether me and you or 79 here, it gives us that basic cognitive skill set. Now, while this is going to be far out, obviously by speed, I type in enter, it pumps this out. It might have took me, we're not even talking words per second here before we get, or words per minute before we get into stopping and processing out that stuff. But there you go. Is it going to give me that answer inside of here? Because it is the most, by far, crucial answer you can have before you start to say, okay, what inventory do I have? And what am I comparing that against? Not only for our natural index, but also that supply and demand issue here. Even though this isn't a merchant situation, there's a Coulomb field charge involved with it that if they're in the right orientation to each other in what I call the figure four, 1 over A times 1 over B. And again, this is a time situation where T is a bottom index, because T can be a force. This is going to cause me to do a lot of things that's going to take differences in time, that if the number carried some significant weight in that form, well, I wanted to make sure I get that super critical. Super